Okay. Okay. Let's start our class today. Today we'll keep going talking about the Happy.js, but this time we'll focus on more about the documentation. So in the before our different exercise assignments, so you try to build the Happy.js application server. So after you implement everything, when you need to share your let's say your API route path, then we need to know, okay, so how can we create the documents? So we do have official documents for the Happy.js docs, and then we can have like how can we getting started with it, and then setting routing, and then how can we do the like validation error handling. And also in our lecture today, I'll tell you how to doing the testing. So after you implement, maybe you will check through like manually, but also we have some like programs you can write some testing code to validate is it your expected output match to how you implement your route. So when I start the topic, so the reason why we need to create the documents because we can have like better practice, and then we can helping like in leveraging the framework features. So we knowing what's the input, what's the output. We do have some online for Happy.js itself. We do have called the lab, so we can use it. Or there are some testing framework called Jazz or Mocha and Char. In our example, I will give you like once using the lab and then using the Mocha to doing testing. So you can look at it. And right here, also for MongoDB, we also can use like Jazz or Mocha to test our framework. You will see, I will show you the example, how can we test it. So far, if we using the testing framework using Jest, so it's a really popular testing framework, like with building the exception library. So we can support different mock functions, and it's really easy to configure. And for the Mocha and Char, the Mocha is more like flexible testing framework for Node.js. And Char is like working together. Sometimes we're working together as an exception library. We can work like with the Mocha, so we can allow the called the BDD. So it's called behavior-driven development style testing. We do some like keywords we can use. Like we need to like expand, or like sometimes we need to match it, and or something we use a keyword should to match it. For details, I will show you the official document so you can see. When you need to install it, so when you try to install, sometimes we install the Happy.js or like MongoDB or other like JOI, and this time we need to install it. We will add called the safe dev. So this one is showing. This one is not for implementation, but this one is for the development. So we try to adding the parameter called the safe dev will be letting the package JSON, or when we start a new project, we know, okay, I need to install this one, but this one won't include in your production. Okay, so we'll add the JS, or sometimes we need to like adding specific code type JS or super test. So all this we can modify. If you pay attention to the package file, you will know for the script by default it will call the exit. So we won't do any like testing. So you need to modify. If let's say you're using Jet, then you can using Jet, or like if you're using Mocha, then you can change it to Mocha. So we know we're going to test it. If we know we have different type of testing, then I'm going to show you how can we set it up. So like how can we test a route, and then we need to create the testing file. So remember, we need to add the file. If you have the server, use the same name and then .test and then .js. Here they were checking. We need to create a new folder, and then the system, when you execute npm test, then we'll go into the test file and then searching. Okay, do you have a match server file, .test file, and then match with the same name? They will try to start the server and then try to match the function with the returning same result. Okay. And if you want to set, let's say, Mocha for testing MongoDB, then it's the same way. So you need to install like using that save dev and then using Mocha jar, and then you need to connect through the Mongoose. So right here as well, I say you can change the test using Mocha in your package.json. Then you can do that. Okay. So right here, maybe the example you can see, if for testing, maybe we have the model like user and then mongoose, and then we have schema. This time using name and age, and then we will export the modules user schema. So it's the basic those syntax we are using. So if you are like after you implement the Happy.js API server, then you should pretty familiar with like that, also with the MongoDB. And then for this one, after we export it, then next what do we need to do is like we need to know for the authentication is like, let's say what type of it's like, because be the token or API key, then we can describe what the method. So if after you testing, this one is the documents, maybe you can use your Word documents and then telling, okay, so what I'm going to do, and then what is the method you're using, and then example, and then what's the key so you're going to use. And then when you talk about those like API endpoints, then you need to give the like endpoint names, or like what's the URL method. Is it get, post, put, or delete, and then the path of that endpoint. And then give me one sentence of the description. And are you passing any request parameters? Is regular parameter or is a query? So they was the parameter 1, parameter 2. So are they required, optional, and then what they use it for? So that's what you need to put in your document. And then maybe if you do have any path parameters, then you can put over there. And then if you have the like request body, then also you can put the field with the value. So it looks like this. And then if everything works well, then what kind of response are you be returned? So success response. So what's the code? Let's say it's 200, and then you give a result, okay. And then what's the returned content? So you can give a format. So if you have a error response, so keep going, and then okay, I will give like 400 and the bad request, and then are you going to return what's the content? So are you giving the attribute names, the error, and then what's the description of the error? Then you can show in this way. And so far you will see so many error codes or those codes. So pretty common we are using like 200 for the okay message. And that's like everything your request you sent out or received there were like successful. And then 400 will be telling about bad request. So that means the request was invaded. And 401 is unauthorized. So that means the authentication is like failed. And then 404 is not found. So that means maybe you want to request certain resources, they are not exist, then we couldn't able to find it. And then 500 will be representing the internal server error. So some unexpected error they will occur. And then you can define your own source code. Let's say if you be using 500 for standardized one, then in your project, you may able to define, okay, I can use like 501, 502, or like 503, 504 to represent different type of internal error. So let's say maybe if you 501, you say is the parameters, they're not correct. Maybe the sending syntax, they are not support, or somehow any possible error you are going to use, then you can define your own specific number. But in general, we're using the first digit 5. We know, okay, say we have some like internal server error. So no matter it's a Happy.js problem or when you connect to MongoDB, or your database. Sometimes if you're not only using MongoDB, but also using MySQL, but you can also declare what's your error code. Okay. And then do you set any rate limit? Let's say how many requests per hours per minute? Yeah, or like my IP address, or have you setting any response headers? So let's say we have X-ray limit, so maximum limits of requests are allowing maybe the remaining. So the number of requests that remain in the current window, or like the reset. So what's the time and the rate limit reset? So you can tell mention all this information in your document. So when as a developer, let's say you are the backend developer, working on it, and then if I'm the front-end developer or I'm building any IoT devices, we need to connect to your API server that I can refer to your document. So I would know. So right here, if you can showing all the endpoints, so okay, if I want to get certain, mainly I'll look at the description, also the name metric. Okay, so what is endpoints doing? So you say, okay, if I want to get a list of users, then I will look at the endpoint. Okay, then what's the URL? So it's using get method. Okay, so what's the actual path? And what kind of parameter do I need to pass to your API server? Then when I look at this, so okay, it's passing through the parameters ID, is ID, or like I passing through the query, then query, or is it a post method? Then do we need to like post it through the body? And then what kind of attributes do I need to send it? So all these I can refer to. Okay, and then after you finish all this documentation, then you need to put your contact information for support. But of course, in your project, or if you need to put your documentation, you can just put your like team, or just choose one email and then the document URL. Sometimes if you will also upload to the LinkedIn, the GitHub, then you can put the GitHub link. Then you can put in this. If you don't have it, or like you don't want to like make it to public, or if you upload to the drive, then yes, then you can put the link like where it's like for the documents. Okay. So all this real telling for Happy.js itself, like it provides a robust framework to build application, and then they do provide different type of documentation. Also, we have some framework how to build the documents, but when you type it, it will show you the information. But also we need to put it. As well, I use some framework before. Sometimes they lack of description, so I need to check it, but you don't know what actually those endpoints using. So just remember, try to put those things. And when you use this framework, you can use those testing methods, and you can able to effectively test your Happy.js or MongoDB queries. So ensure they behave like what you expected, and then the will report again the changes. So make sure you are like running your tests regularly to a development. Okay, so right here we'll move on to showing the demonstration. Okay, I was showing you the default one. You would call the Happy.js lab. Okay. Let me see. This one is the testing right here. Okay. So here's the, if you go to the Happy.js official website, go to the tutorial, then you can see the testing. Start with the Happy.js itself. You just need to npm install the Happy lab. So when you try to set up the server side, let's say this one is a regular route of your server. Okay, so it's the same as what you have. Okay, so later you, under this, you also need to work on your new assignment and exercise. So based on the Happy.js server, then you need to build up how to do the testing. This is a regular way how to start your server. And then we need to do is that we need to create a test file. Okay, so this test file, we will request a lab, And then another one you need to use is called the happy code. Okay, so this happy code is like importing from the chart. So the chart is using the code expect. So expect is one of the measuring method to compare. Unluckily, because when they if you using the chart in this moment, because they will have a conflict with it, like ES6, and then the syntax, like when you try to using either request or import, so they didn't match the format. So as an alternative, I would recommend don't use chart directly, but you can install the happy/code. Okay, and then maybe if you have some script, so right here we need to use it after each or before or what's the describe, so we can call all this function. Okay, so right here we'll create called a describe and then the get method. So get within the default router will be slash. So you right here matching it, got the slash and then function, so we return hello world. Okay. Suppose right here, so we'll check. So before we will try to start the initialize. So here's a slightly difference is we need to export your initializer function and return the server, because we need to export for testing. So this time with the syntax change a little bit. So you need to export the initialize function. And after you start, so before anything start, we need to start our server. So after we start the server and then execute all the testing, then we need to like stop the server. Okay, so here's the example. So how we did is the first two statements, and then begin with this one, it. So this one we say, okay, what is the response? Suppose if here's a description, so I will return as the response with 200, so it should be correct. So I will try to send the engineering method. So we're using method get and then with the default URL slash. And we try to get the expected status code is equals to 200. So right here, the status code, like suppose everything goes correct, if you know it should be matched with 200. And testing, you can modify the script file using test. So right now, right here, I will start to simulate. To start with, the first one is if you're using the Happy.js lab, I already upload the source code, so you can download those source code and try to do it with me at the same time. Or you can do it later. Like I will give you some time to do it. Okay, and right here I will switch the CD lab. Okay. Okay. So everything when you start, you will start with an npm initialize. If you like push the parameter like hyphen dash y, that means like I just by default. Okay, but I already create my package JSON, then I'm not going to create. So after you start your using your npm to create a file, then you will see the format like this. So we have the name, version, description, and then all the directories. Okay. You will see if you create a new project. Let's say let me do it right here. 10. Okay, I have some temporary. Okay, right here. Good. And if I need to initialize a new project like this, so I pass a parameter. So you can see the package JSON file by default. You just have name, version, description, and then you have the script. So test the echo. It's like no test specific, and then they will exit. Okay, so you are not going to test anything. And what do you need to do? After you initialize it, then we can just start your server as like your normal way. Let's say, let me do it one more time. Initial the package file. So if you still remember, we need to start our server, then we may need to install the happy.js like happy, and then also you need to insert the mongoose. Okay, so that one maybe I will save it. So when I save it, so I will save it to the dependence file. So that's what necessary for my ABS server and connecting it. So that's how I install the modules package right here. So you create the new files. You will see the dependency. It comes out in your so updated with the dependency, happy JS, and then the mongoose with their version. Okay, if I need to install using the using the happy JS default lab testing, then it's telling you, okay, we need to using the happy lab. So that's what you need to install and install at happy lab. And then also we need to pass a parameter save that. So we will save to the development environment. So this one will save to the lab. And then we need to see when I talk about the char is like using the code. So it's based on char, and then for the assertion library. Remember, because after I test it, so right now it will conflict with that different version. So I'm not recommend you to install the char directly, but using the happy code. So it will work better because it provides the same function. So here we need to install the happy code, and then we can save the development. We can pass this parameter. Okay, so we also install. Then right now we can check our package file. Right here. Okay, save development. Oh, I forgot to make it. Okay, I have a space. Okay, right here, and that do not need the safety development. Okay. Okay, dependency. So right here, so you see right now we have the called the dependency and dev development. Okay, so right now we have one is there for our production, then we need it. And this one is for development testing. So that means when you launch it online, then you don't have to really install it. But this one for internal testing only. So here will be all the package necessary. And if you install all this, then I'm going to switch back to the lab. In the lab, so right here I have the server. I create a new folder. You can like create a new folder or whatever you like. So here I create here's a similar syntax. So I try to request a happy JS package and the firmware. So and then I define the port 3000, and then I have a basic route is like get and then return hello world, and then with initialization I need to export it. So you will see the syntax it changed, and also the server start. I export this function. So you see I start with the initialization and also the start function, and then have a console log and return the server. Okay, so here's the change modification for testing. So this is what I need to do, and then we have that process on, and then have an error log. Let me go back to the lab. Okay, right here with the files. And then if I need to start my server, let me cd to the library file, and then I can start with the node server.js. If you need to run it as a regular, also need to export, but this one for testing, so I didn't put it. And then for the testing file is right here, and you can match with the based on the example. So it's exactly the same. You copy. So we will try to require the one is happy lab. So testing, and then expert is for expert is the code. That means the one is same as using the chart. And then we have all the function like export from the lab, and then from the lab split. Okay, so we're getting, and then we try to initialize, like call the function initialization. So you see, I try to like go back to parent folder and then switch to library file, and then go to find the server.js. Okay, so that's it. So if I execute it, so I'm using npm and start to like run test. and then you will see the return result. So we try to looking for it, testing, and say, okay, get slash, and then have a green check. They say, okay, respond with 200. So it's correct. So it would telling, okay, one test is complete, and then testing duration like 25 milliseconds, and it's like no issue. So here's the program. What's the advantage or benefit? It's like when you're running a script like this, a testing code, so you can validate and test all your route and path to make sure they are like working fine without like, you don't have to say, okay, let me test to pass it one by one, but you can test it with the default script. Okay. This one is the basic provided by the Happy.js. So you can refer to the their testing example, and then like copy the build the first one. I also upload this code to the week 11. So you will see the Happy Lab. So you can download and then unzip it. So you will see all the source code. Then you can try to build the environment. Okay. So when now we move on to put the common popular one, like we are using a lot. So one of the example we can use. Remember when you need to install the like Mocha, we need to make us another files. Like remember, we need to create a new file called test. Okay, so that one is like for testing. So when we running like npm test, we know we go to test file folder to find the testing file. Okay, so remember to create one extra files. Okay, so I would like to tell you like not only the file, but our Happy.js server, but if you need to implement certain function, you still able to validate it. So here would be the example right here. That you look at the source code, and then I create the file. So right here you see I just put the original file right here, and then testing file I need to put it under the folder test, and then you will see okay. Let's say I create a class, I have an object, and then this class I have a constructor, and then I provide three functions. So this three function I could will return the value, and then like this. Okay, and for the modules I will call the export. So I will export this object class. Okay, and then for the testing, I will like try to request it from me calling it. So that's how I get from the export. So if you forgot to export it, then you cannot require from the function. Okay, so you from the F function and then export it, and that's how can you get it. And then later we can use the called the happy code. So this one is char. Okay, so it will using the function we can match it with called the expect. So with the describe it. So we are testing the for the crypt function, and then so the first one I will checking. Okay, first one is the side length. So for the function, it's really simple. So the function, if it's done, then let's say I have a for the C1, this C1 I will passing the 2. So I pass the length, and then expected if I. So what are we expected? So if I have a C1 and called get side length, so it should be equals to 2. Okay, I have a function called side length, and then it just return that length, right? So I will see, is it validate is equals to 2? So 2 is like what we expected, the return value. And this one is that we passing. And then what is our surface area? So if I pass 5, create a new one, a new object pass 5, and then for the surface function, it should be like 5 times 5 and then times 6 like this. Okay, so does it match it? And then also the volume. So volume will be power to 3. Then let me execute this one. Let's see the folder object class, and then our npm test. So this time you see I calling using the Mocha. Okay, so the package is right here. I changed the script. So we have the directories like called the test is right here. We go to the, so you can modify the directory if you need for testing. You can like if you have another name, testing test, or like just regular test. So you can see. This time I install the Mocha. So if you need to install the Mocha, So if you look at my package, you'll know I'm using the happy code and then Mocha. So you can use the npm install and Mocha and then save to the development like this. Dev. Okay. So you can install it. But because since I already installed it, so this time we are using the Mocha. So it's another framework we can use for testing. And then you see, okay, right now, after we run the testing, so test on first is the silent thing, let's say match. If the surface area is matched, and then also the volume is matched. Okay, so let's say I make the mistake, power to the 2. Okay, and then save it. And let me run it one more time. Okay, so right here, if you make the mistake, they're telling you, okay, 2, they are passing the testing, but this one is falling, like it's failing. So what's the one is failing? You can see it's a red in color. So you say, okay, first 2 I match it, and then the third one, like the volume of the curve is failed, and then you tell, okay, so this one is error, so expected like 49 to equal specific value, and then like 343. So this one, like this one, it should be matched at 343, but that's what I expect. But actually, it's like minus like 49. Then I say, what's the difference right here? And then you can go back and check. Okay, so you see the return value and the expected value is not the same. Then you can go back. Oh, okay, maybe probably because the power. So you can look at your equations, like your syntax or what some calculation. Okay. So the curve should be 3. Then you can modify it and save it again, and then run the testing one more time. Okay. And then you okay, it passed. That's how here's how we can doing the debugging. Okay, so here's an example. Is that not only the happy.js, but if you create any like object for testing for your server, then also you can validate in this way. Okay. Then how about we applying for our server side? So server side, I have it. You can look at called the server. So let's say I have a user, and then this one I just like predefine the return array with this one. Let's say I have an ID called one, name is Joe, like this, and then here's the testing file. So this one, I'm using Mocha. So right here, I using including a super test, and also I using expect, and you can see right here. So we're using the super test. I try to listen to the server response. And then I initialize with the server. So right here. Here is the structure is like how can you export your initialization, also like execute the initialization by yourself if you run the program. Okay. Here's the same. So we initialize, we have this one is like inside the function asynchronize. We start the server and they have a route/user. Okay, that's a return value. So suppose I switch. This one is under the directory server. If I npm, I start the let me start my server. Okay, I run it on my local host. Local host 3000 and /users. I missed the C. Okay, so you see, I will return the value. So the server, if we start it, then it's working. Compare with the first one, I didn't put the initialization function, then you could then start your server. Okay. Then right here, we will try to match it and then try to get the return value, what's expected. And then when we expect it, we create like the first one, do we expect that like we return the value is like getting the 200. Okay. Could we get it? So, and then we try to like, is it return is as an array? So you see right here, I will able to check. It's an array, so you know it's a type or it's an object, so you're able to compare it. And then next, like if you want to check inside the return array, do they have a property? So to have the property, so it's right here, and then you check, okay, their property is like return the code ID is 1 and the name is John, and you can check it. Okay. And you may be confused, then do I should start running your server? No, you don't have to. Okay. Here the benefits is you don't have to like keep your servers running. And right here, I would like to show you the package JSON right here. I install pretty a lot like for testing. And depends like I install so many things, but mainly you will see the directory is testing. And then for the development, we have the chai, and then we have the Mocha Jet, Supertext. So Supertext is an under firmware. And if you're interested, you're welcome to look for details. And then another one is called the Jets. So I right here slightly changed the package file, package.json. Mainly is that for the testing, I have one modify. If you can create 2 different testing. Let me see, just. Then I can declare one is called a Jazz. So let me start my program and execute npm test. Let's say right here I have an API server, and then it shows that they all failed to listen. So before hook, that should return a list of user I didn't have it, or after all, that I didn't return it. And then for the like user API, it's the same. So then I can go and check it. I just already using. So sometimes maybe I have already executed before and I forgot to stop it. Then I need to like restart it again and then running it. And let me see. I should have finished with the server and testing user. Okay. So here's the example I want to show you. If you did download it and then follow the steps right here, then you can follow me. So here's the exercise. I have an empty examples, so I should upload this one. So you see example. So I already give you a source code, and you can start all the steps together. And then we need to like start our initialization, and then we need to install all the necessary. Maybe we can start with the Happy.js and then Mongoose in the beginning. So that one is for development. Okay. So here the example. So I started, and you see I started initialization running this server. And then I will return the hello, and then hello, and then I have a user importing from the Mongoose and return the value like this and matching it. Okay. And if you look at the required package I'm using, I need to use an expert also from the Happy code. And I will using like switch to the Mocha, then you can do it like npm install at happy select code, and then we can use the Mocha. And then we can use, because I didn't use a super test, but you don't have to edit, then we can save there. Okay, so we can install all these functions. So you see right here. And after you create the file, so you see like for testing, like right here, dependence, and depth development, and analysis. And you can see like for direct testing, and then for the start, we using the testing. So this time I will need to modify. So because we install Mocha, so I change it to Mocha and then save it. So we know it, okay, we are going to use Mocha, and then here's the server. And here we have that one of the route path. it's right here, say it's the route, then you need to modify and make it work. Okay, and then adding more route. This is your exercise, and then let's say Alpha1 needs to connect to the database, then how can you get it from the database? So it's the empty one. So suppose if you are able to start it, then you install everything, then you can use like npm test. Then you can start with the testing. So right here. But here I do like missing something. So let's see. For the testing, I still not yet have a Mocha loading, say expected. Okay, let's see if I using Mocha. I need to require the Mocha. So right here you can see like we have the happy after I install it. Then how can the package we need to require to install, then you can follow the example right here, then you can install it. Try to follow the sample code I gave you. Then I wish you can able to like compute the settings and then able to running the testing code. So you can do it this one, and I will fix this part because I didn't, because for the server, remember when you import it. So when you're doing the testing, remember to declare the correct location. Let's say I need to test the server, then I need to go back to the like the previous file. So I need to like put it like this way, and then let's go to the user, and for the user, I did go back to the previous the parent folder and then try to get the users JS. Then I should able to get it the server, and then you can like try to run it again and test, and then doing the debugging, and then you need to find okay what are the else. Okay, before all is not defined. Okay, so here's a pretty common issue we'll have when we try to install a package, because when we try to use the Mocha and also the char, and then also when we using the supertext. So what we need to do is right here the code, and then refer to those like what I gave you before. Then you need to like follow this way. Let's say because this one I try to connect to the MongoDB, try to fetch it, but because suppose I shouldn't able to fetch it because I didn't connect it. And what do you need to do? Then you will see, okay, I need to add one more. Maybe I need to add the supertext for the describe, and then for default, because like some of them they depreciate, then we need to change it. And but this one I didn't using the supertext to connect to the development, then we don't have it. And then what else you need to check will be, let me see. And also, right now we are not using Jest, but if you need, then we can install the Jest. Let me check. I need to install. More. Example right here. I need to test it with the Not using the Mocha or in testing script directly. So this is original, and then using the Mocha testing script. Okay, it should be exist. So I will spend the time to fix it too, and then you can follow, give it some lab time. So we can try to install all the necessary package and then doing the testing. So mainly for today's class, we will cover is like how can you create the documents like this format for your API server. And then next is like how can you doing testing the script. So that's what you need to do when you implement. And we do have some like lots of online example happy JS Mocha. So because it belongs to the testing. So because we need to following the using the they say the injections over here, and happy. And then also we need to install one more. It's called the npm install check. Let f it doesn't show something. Sweet. See, it looks not the same. Oh. But the testing, I remember when you need to do it, okay, yeah. Because the function they depreciated, so we need to modify this one. That's what I remember. So we cannot using the before anymore. So we need to use the before, and then you need to like follow the like this one, and then which by the greeting, and then to be the code 200, and then the greeting to be. So we have different functions to doing matching. So let's see depreciation, and then okay. So I forgot to using the expect code doing setting. So right here. So I need to add this one. So you need to like follow and putting all this one and then get the hello. And then what else we need to modify. And then for the user, let's say the user is connecting to the Happy.js. I do have an expand, and then with the code, user models, get the user mongoose. Okay, so let me check, and then right here before okay, for the connection. We can doing the testing one more time. Okay, and then we are using the function called after all, but it's depreciation is I didn't use anymore. Then I need to remove it. Okay, so I need to change to after. So right here. Now we'll do it one more time. Okay, so right now it shows like okay, I run the Mocha test, and then I passing the first one like create with the one, and then fail to create the field is okay, and then to passing and then getting hello response with the greeting. So expecting something like to be is not a function because I don't have it, then I need to modify it to make it worse. Then I refer to other examples with my testing. Let me see right here. To be, and then if like we have different functions, and then for the return, let's say I want to using the lab code happy lab code expect. Okay, so code expect. So right here maybe like there's something to the string to be like or booleans. We have different expectation, and then let me see, we have a detailed examples. Right here we have like some words we can use like and, at, be, have, and then to be like this. So here's all the example we can check, and then we have some like flash we can use to compare it. And maybe we is fading out, we don't have that to be, then maybe to we change it to like have. And also like some of the range that is above certain number includes certain number, and then maybe we have some certain arguments, or like to be as an array boolean, and if it's like reference it to be a buffer, and then is it because it's return a date, it can be like function, so it's a returning function. Or we can checking is the regular expression, like it's an array. So this all the objects, like detecting is an object, and then also including, let's say if I want to like to dot include, and then with the certain number, so I can modify this one. So let's say I want to be refer to all this module I want to using let's say I want to change it to like this one. Maybe I want to like equals the provided value, so maybe I can test with the equals. So I can like test it with the equals. Like I want to expect is the hello world, and then or okay, let me try again. And also we have the to be okay. We have the status codes, if you remember from our example right here for the server test. So because the syntax changed, so let's say I want to checking okay, let me change to dot equal, so I can use the function equal, and then okay, maybe I try to using to equal, and then compare it okay with the test, and then we can change it. That's how we expect it, and then test. Okay, so right now, right here, you say, okay, everything works. So for the module text, we can create say for user, and then also like we get the route, it's like get hello, and then respond with a correct greeting. So that's what we need. And then because for testing, we are testing you see from the user, right? Here example, user test. So what's the returning you see right here? Okay, I want to create and save a user successfully. So you see like username here. So there's the ID to be just say not undefined, and then do equals to the name. So also the age is so like 30. So when we to validate, then we can do it this way. And then fail to create, like let's say if I want to create the invalid user, if I only get the 30, so can we save it? If no, then we are not able to do that, because when we try to match with the user, then because we have the schema. So right here, so if we didn't match the schema, then you are not able to create insert the new data. Here's the example you need to do for your exercise. Then you can try to install all those necessary package, and then remember to change your because for the example code I'm testing, then you need to change all those parameter and all the modify the package file for testing. So that's what you need to do. Make sure the testing directories, and then using Mocha, and then try to install all the necessary modules and firmware for testing, and then you can follow a structure. So right here I create a database connect to the MongoDB. You can using your shell to connect to MongoDB, or if you want to. And also I recommend you can, if you want, you can download the MongoDB for for the GUI to manage your database. You just need to add the connection, add to your local host or to your server is okay. And then you need to set up for port forwarding to let you to access to the MongoDB. So this one I set here, and then I create a user, and I have the user example John Peter, or for testing right here 30. So it's embedded. So here's one, if you want to have a visualize visible to the MongoDB, then you can install using their GUI. But this one is using for the Mac, but they do have one for Windows, then you can search for it. And then also you can connect to the shell to connect it. Then it will be pretty easy to do that. And if you don't have any other question, then you can start to work on the example. You feel free to stay here to work on it, and then I can guide you and help you to fix it. You can share your screen to me. If you have no other questions, or if you want to do it later by yourself, then you feel free to send me the email to my appointment, help you to fix it. And remember, because for your project, so remember send it before next class, it's a 30. Remember to give me your topic, and then some basic information for this one, what you want to build. So what's the basic plan you want to work on your project. So just remember to submit your title. And because this one I will create as I will create for your project plan. So this one will just it will taking certain percent. So I try to break your project into different parts. So after you submit it with deadlines, at least you won't get a really low grade. So once you finish the first 1 or 2 part, at least you can get a minimum, at least 50% of your grade. Then depends on your final submission, it will affect your final grade. Okay. So depends on your questions or workings, then you can try to fix it. For testing, then you need to see what are the basics for the modules. Remember, because if you install the child right here, just remember for this one, try not to use it, because after I doing testing, it not supporting the new ES6. So they're not working well. But luckily, for the Happy.js, they already integrate, and then based on this library to provide the code. So remember to replace it using the happy/code. So if you look at all my uploaded example, are using called the happy code. So you have a function called expect, and then there are some function they already phase out, so they don't have all the after or before. Or if you see something like that, remember to modify it and try to create different testing route. Okay, so at least you need to know how to create it, and then use. If you catch an idea and then follow some example, then you should able to complete the new assignment. Okay, but I will upload the new assignment later. Okay, so do you have any questions? Or if you're working at it and with some question, you feel free to share to me. So I will end the sharing, and I will give you some time to work on it. If you have no question, then you feel free to leave. Okay. And let me set the setting and then allow a participant. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I don't have any questions, so
Mhm. Okay. If you know her without any question, then you may feel free
all
to
right,
leave.
have a good one, Professor.
Okay, you can. Okay.